Welcome to another episode of Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror. I'm Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-host, Drusilla Adeline. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing this week, Josh?
Great. I'm doing really, really well. It feels like some projects that I've been working on are starting to heat up. It feels like Los Angeles has this great energy. I've been going places, doing things. It feels pretty great to me.
Plus, it's been like overcast and gloomy, and we've had a lot of rain lately.
That.
Oh, yeah. This is my Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. When I become mayor of Los Angeles, mandatory rain and gloom 24 hours.
June gloom, 12 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I love
that
June
is
gloom.
My reign.
Yeah. It's not even June. It's March or April, I guess now.
Oh, good Lord. Don't remind me. It's the worst.
Maybe we'll get 3 months of gloom.
Oh, please.
Amazing. What's been up with you? How have you been?
I've been very well. I'm very excited because tonight is my inaugural visit to the Magic Castle in LA. Staple
I've never
landmark.
Been.
I've never been. I'm going tonight with a group of friends. We are getting in, and we have a full open bar and restaurant tab while we're there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go nuts. I'm a big fan of magic. And I feel like such a dork saying that and outing myself as a fan of magic. When I'm like tired and bored and need like a comfort something to put on YouTube, I typically go with magicians or like clips from Penn and Teller Fool Us.
Magic and Magic Castle, more specifically, both make me think of Neil Patrick Harris because I worked on a series of unfortunate events, and Neil Patrick Harris is incredibly into magic, was always bugging us to incorporate it into the show, and he was like the head of the board for Magic Castle or something like that for a long time. Yeah, he's majorly into it. He loves it there. I've never been. I do worry about their parking situation because when I drive by on Franklin, it's a very sudden turn off of Franklin, first of all, which is like jarring.
And then it's immediately up a hill.
And then it's like straight up a hill. Yeah. It's a beautiful old gothy house. But I'm just like, God, I hope they have like good parking up there. It's like such an LA thought.
Yeah. I'm not taking the Jaguar. I am absolutely carpooling. There's no way.
I think
There's no
smart.
way.
I think that's smart.
Have you been watching anything this week?
Yeah. Well, I had quite a week. Well, first of all, Bergman Report.
Bergman Report.
I watched Persona, which was quite a double feature with our movie of the day.
Oh my God, you're right. Holy shit.
It was
Persona very heavy.
Interesting accidental double feature, similar themes throughout. I liked it very much. I did not like it as much as Seventh Seal or Cries and Whispers, but that's a pretty tough contest. I still 4 stars liked it, so it's not like I didn't like it at all.
I think Persona is more important than great, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's more like influential in the way that it like changed a lot of shit, and it's also like the lesbian Bergman film.
Yeah,
but Seventh Seal is more fun.
Yeah, Seventh Seal is like fucking metal as fuck movie. Persona was like more formally experimental, which was interesting, but also more challenging. There's a lot of it feels like theater in a good way. Like there's a whole long scene where one of them is telling a story, a very problematic to Twitter story, I'm sure, where she and a stranger she meets on the beach are both sunbathing nude, and 2 boys come along, and they say that the boys are very young looking, but they don't say how. And then she tells like a really long story about having an orgy with these 2 young boys and this other strange woman on the beach. It's beautifully written and acted, and it's a good movie, really good. I mean, it's Ingmar Bergman. It's not it's like I'd be like,
and it's like a heavy hitter Bergman too. This is not lightweight stuff. It's so good, and the performances are amazing. I always, 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 when I think of that movie, I think of the shot of her having the mental breakdown on set at the beginning of the movie, and that's of all the lights on her and the way she twirls back towards the camera.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie is beautiful. And it gave us, David Lynch. It gave us Robert Altman. It gave us all of that stuff.
It felt very much like a Robert Altman movie, which I've seen a lot more of than Ingmar Bergman. I just think it's funny to be like, it was okay to like an Ingmar Bergman movie. That's not how I feel at all. I thought it was amazing. It's coming off the heels of two movies that I loved more.
Can I quickly tell you how I first saw Persona? Which
please.
was in a high school film class when I should have been doing editing work on something. I decided, screw it. My cut's good enough. And I just had an hour and a half to kill in class. So I went to YouTube and watched all of Persona on YouTube on an old Mac desktop in either the 11th or 12th grade.
Oh my gosh. Was it one of those Macs that are like blue or, you know what I mean?
No, it wasn't one of the fun colored ones from like 2002. I wish. That would be more iconic. Or
those are the ones that I had in
the
college.
Shrek VCR TV.
Yeah.
If I watched Persona on the Shrek VCR TV, that might, honestly, I might be planning a girls' night in soon.
I remember doing cocaine for the first time, don't arrest me, at art school. And then coming home from the party and being a little bit drunk and being on cocaine and then playing The Sims on my like blue Mac desktop, which like couldn't really handle the game. So it kept crashing, but I spent like 8 hours playing The Sims. Like I played generations of this Sim family while I was like high on coke.
I cannot begin to imagine playing The Sims on cocaine. Oh my God.
It was like, God. I'm sure if you had a camera there, it would have looked like it was like Ender's Game or something. You know what I mean? Like, do you know the gif of that hotel lady with the big eyes who's like tapping at a keyboard? And she's
yes.
Like, I'm sure it looked like that.
I mean, it would be absolutely hazardous to someone's health and it would be wildly illegal. And I don't recommend you do this, but I would do so much to see someone do Let's Plays on cocaine. I'm sure there's people who do Let's Plays on some kind of legal form of speed.
I'm sure.
But, oh my God. But doing it for something as mundane as that makes me very pleased and very happy.
Other than Persona, I actually randomly watched another incredible Spanish movie. And I've seen so few Spanish movies, but this week I saw two bangers. And the one that I am talking about, I saw on Arrow's app. And it's a 90s movie called Day of the Beast.
Oh, you texted me about this. Yes.
Holy shit, I loved it. It's a really viciously dark comedy about a Catholic priest who has deciphered these old texts and discovered that the Antichrist is going to be born in Madrid on this day, but he doesn't know where. So he decides he needs to start doing evil so that he can conjure the devil and ask the devil so that he'll know and be able to murder this baby as soon as it's born. And along the way, he enlists the help of the bassist of a satanic metal band and a cheesy TV psychic. And it's sort of like the tone of it is like madcap. It's like, but it's very violent and sexual. It's like if Quentin Tarantino directed Adventures in Babysitting. You know what I mean? They're like scaling buildings. It's like they're getting beat up and like all these random terrible things keep happening to them. And
this sounds amazing.
You would love it.
How have I never seen this?
I don't know. I mean, it's on Arrow, so maybe it's like the movie we're going to talk about today. Maybe it wasn't available widely until recently.
I need to check it out. So good.
You would love it, love it, love it. It's called Day of the Beast, and it's on Arrow.
Well, I can't wait. Oh my God. You sold me at satanic bassist.
I know. It's got the setup of The Omen and then the tone of, Adventures in Babysitting as done by Quentin Tarantino.
Which, okay, time to be, publicly flogged. I've never seen Adventures in Babysitting.
It's okay. I mean, I love that movie, but, it's very of a time. And
I always get that and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead confused, and I've seen neither.
I would say I would rank Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead above Adventures of Babysitting, and I think you'd
Christina
really
Applegate?
Like it. Yes.
Yeah. Then I definitely want to see that one.
You'd like that one.
My mother loves Christina Applegate, and I've seen like almost everything that she's in because of it.
I watched that one a lot as a kid, and my movie club just watched it last year, and it went down a treat. Everybody loved it. So I feel safe in saying that it's really fun, and you'd like it.
It does please me to know that there are more like good 80s comedies that I haven't seen yet. So
I think technically Don't Tell Mom is a 90s comedy, but I think it's like 1990 or 1991. So basically
we'll give it a
80s.
slide. We'll give it a
Yeah.
slide. Yeah.
Yeah. And Joanna Cassidy plays her glamorous boss, and she's really wonderful.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's on the list.
What about you? What have you been watching?
I had a very odd week of watches. So the bigger highlight of the like big movie that I put off for years that finally a friend forced me to watch with her. And when I do the lead up, this is going to sound like a comedy, but it's one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen.
Oh, no. Okay.
The Blake Edwards film starring Jack Lemmon, The Days of Wine and Roses.
Oh, I've never seen that either.
Which is a very sobering look at alcoholism.
Oh, yeah.
With him and Lee Remick. And their entire relationship is based on alcoholism, but the thing that makes it even worse is that she's never had a drop in her life when she meets him.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, only wants to be around her if she's drinking, so he like sneakily tricks her into having alcohol for the first time.
Ugh.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a rough ride. And what makes it even more rough is that it's directed by Blake Edwards, who made the Pink Panther movies and The Great Race.
Right.
And it stars Jack Lemmon, like right off of like Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
And it starts like a meet cute rom-com. And then it takes all of the like fumbling slapstick behavior of meet cute rom-com of he's coming home drunk and he got the flowers stuck in the elevator. The flower heads came off. How goofy. All of that comes back around in the second half of the movie as he's like desperately searching through a greenhouse for a bottle of booze he hid in there, tears the whole place apart, and it's like it's the same stuff. It's shot the same way. His performance is the same. It just heightened a little bit more. And it's some of those horrifying and heartbreaking things you've ever seen. And the ending is really fucking dark. Not what I expected from the 60s.
I need to get around to seeing that. I mean, of course, I could talk about alcoholism all day. And when I was getting sober the first time, when I was like 27, I really wanted to watch movies about alcoholism. And I found that there were very few, really, about like sombering looks at, portraits of alcoholics. But the thing that I noticed a lot is that when you would read like old reviews of them or of new ones that were coming out, the critics would be like, there are so many movies about getting sober and alcoholism. And I'm like, are there actually? Like, I don't think that there are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The whole kind of third act of the movie does hinge on AA, and Jack Lemmon joining AA and that being a rift in their relationship. But the most interesting part of that to me is that his sponsor is played by Jack Klugman from the Odd Couple TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Which Jack Lemmon did the Odd Couple movie.
Right.
And Jack Klugman played the Walter Matthau part on the show. And it was super fucking surreal to see these two men. And I'm like, they're going to get into some hijinks together. Oh, they're talking over the ethical ramifications of going to get his wife who's on a bender right now. Uh-oh. Yeah. Comedy's going to ensue, isn't it? Uh-oh. Nope. Just grim. Just really, really grim relapse. Oh, okay. Boy. Yeah, and treating alcoholism with like straitjackets and shock therapy.
Yeah.
The 60s.
That's like that movie, The Lost Weekend, has a lot of that too. Like there's a scene where he has the DTs and then suddenly he's plagued by like bats. Or something because he has the DTs. And it's very campy actually because it's just like bats on rubber strings, like an old cheap vampire movie. But otherwise, that movie is very truthful and beautiful.
Yeah. Days of Wine and Roses reminded me a lot of Sid and Nancy. It has a lot of the same structure of Sid and Nancy where you kind of fall in love with them and then you kind of watch them crumble. And it has a similar ending that's really hard to watch.
The impact of Sid and Nancy on my life, like I thought that movie was so romantic as a young person. And like when I think of romance, I think of the shot of them pressed against the dumpster kissing while trash rains from above in slow motion. It's like so fucked up that my idea of romance came from Sid and Nancy.
I mean, mine did too. And this shot in that movie that I always think of is the My Way number when he shoots everyone in the audience, shoots her, and then she winks at the camera, stands up, and then ascends the staircase with him.
I love that movie.
It's so beautiful. And the final shot of that movie is one of the most heartbreaking, like beautiful, kind of like logic leaps a movie's ever done, and it earns it, and it works, and it's
love
amazing.
it. I feel like I heard that Alex Cox kind of retconned it though, because of there's a lot of criticism about people feel like the movie sort of romanticizes their like sort of murder homicide aspect of it, because it's like it's suggesting that they're together in heaven or something like that, and I don't mind that. I don't care.
I don't mind that either. And again, it's the kind of thing of like, we don't know what happened in that hotel bedroom those final nights. No one knows, no matter how many books Nancy Spungen mom writes.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, no matter how you are going to depict that in a movie, it's going to be ishy. But I think the way that it's presented in the film is the most fitting with the movie's narrative and also with its themes. And also, it's like the most believable for that situation. It's heartbreaking. The reveal is like, you know it's coming because you know the story.
Yeah.
But you don't know when it's coming. And you spent a while in that hotel room as it drags on and on and on. And you're like...
It feels horrible. I just watched that again this year with Christian, and I was like, am I on
what
heroin?
A date movie.
Like, Christian is not my boyfriend.
Oh, sorry.
Christian Tucci, former guest.
Men's names are all the same to
They're
me.
really interchangeable. All the gays are the same. Yeah, you're in that Chelsea hotel room for such a long time in such squalor before it happens, and you're like, am I on heroin? I feel awful. Like, this feels really bad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, and so when the reveal finally happens and you realize what happened has happened, it's one of the grossest things I've ever seen. It's not even like, there's not that much gore, but it's very like, it's very
feels
impactful.
Very nasty and seedy.
Anyway, Alex Cox is a master and deeply underrated.
Love him.
So thank you, Days of Wine and Roses, for letting us get to loving my boy Alex. I also watched Shaft's big score for the first time, which is a huge tonal shift. But I am on a Shaft bender, and I'm loving it. It's better than Shaft.
Okay.
Shaft's big score. I will just tell you some beats from that movie, which includes a MacGuffin coffin full of money. A car chase that accelerates into a helicopter boat chase through the Hudson River.
Oh, wow.
Shaft just sleeps with everyone. He doesn't drive in the car chase. He's driven around in the car chase by like the hot sidekick lady, who's given barely any screen time with clothes on except for the car chase.
Except when she's working as a driver.
And it has like a very unambiguously gay villain, which is so much fun. Love it. It's very villain. Like Ewan McGregor in Birds of Prey style. Gay mob villain who's absolutely sleeping with his henchman. And then there's the third henchman in between who like doesn't get it, and he's just Italian mobster guy who's constantly making homophobic remarks, and then the other two mobsters look at each other.
I love
it knows what it's doing. Gordon Parks, a master, so much fun.
I hope
it gets to like James Bond levels of like insane.
That's good. I mean, that's the idea, right? It's basically like, you know, the genesis is like Black Bond was what they were going for when they started those movies. Is that right?
And I don't think so. I think they were going for more like a 1970s black equivalent of like Philip Marlowe.
Oh, okay, I see. I've never seen
the like Raymond Chandler kind of detective novels for the first movie. The first movie is very simple and gritty, and then Shaft's big score is like, nah, fuck that shit. Like in Shaft has a girlfriend and I think like a child.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one scene where he cheats on her and you're kind of like, Shaft, really?
Yeah.
Really? Bad look, Shaft. But then Shaft's big score. There's no girlfriend. There's no like semblance of a home life at all. He's just constantly like got girls on his arm and you're like, cool. All right, you go get him, Shaft.
Gay rights and all of that, but I hope they never stop giving us queer-coded villains or just unambiguously queer villains. I love them.
I also just want to start every conversation from now until eternity with gay rights and all of that, but
yeah,
because you're right. But yes, every villain should be queer because all queers are villains.
We're just better
as a self-identified villain.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Well, it's funny that you brought up Sid and Nancy because I actually wrote that in my notes for the movie of the day as well, which is from 1979, Arrebato, directed by Ivan Zulueta. Is that right?
Yeah, Ivan Zulueta. Para mi primo el cine es He is one of Spain's greatest and most overlooked filmmakers.
Yeah, well, they made 2 movies, and this was the second one, right? So, not a big track record. Yeah, this is going to be a tough one to talk about. I could not have loved this movie more, and yet it is a very slippery movie, and with a lot of ambiguity. And that was a weird way to say that. Ambiguity. And even summarizing it is so hard, and yet I shall try.
It's all right. I'm going to sit back, relax, and munch on some popcorn and try and figure out the plot of a movie. I've seen it multiple times. I also could not describe if my life depended on it.
I'm even going to close my eyes so that I can really concentrate and think about it. Okay. So Jose is a horror filmmaker and heroin addict who's in a troubled relationship with a heroin addict actress named Anna. And he comes back from shooting a movie and his concierge tells him that he has a package. And in the package, there is a reel of Super 8 film, an audio cassette tape, and a key to an apartment. So he gets upstairs, his girlfriend is nodded off from shooting up, and he puts in the cassette tape, and it's a story being told by a young man named Pedro, who he has met 2 times. And we see those 2 times in flashback. The first time that we meet, Jose is going to Pedro's aunt's house where he lives in the countryside to scout this house for a movie. And there he meets Pedro, who's obsessed with his Super 8 camera and sort of taking footage all around the grounds, just random footage of the house, of the sky, of trees blowing in the wind, of stuff like that. And his family says that he's been behaving very oddly. He shoots footage all day long and won't let anyone watch it. And then through these 2 flashbacks, this filmmaker, Jose, gets closer to Pedro. He's allowed to watch the footage. And he basically sees that when Pedro watches this footage back, he kind of like has this orgasmic experience, which is a bit like, sort of reads a bit like ASMR, honestly. Like he reacts
very
to the footage in this like physical, sexual, sort of horny way. And then we go back to the present and we're getting further along in the cassette tape. And Pedro is talking about how he has now left the countryside and is living in Madrid. And we get to his life in Madrid. And he's getting worse and worse and worse. And stranger things are happening with this camera. And it kind of plays out like a vampire movie where the vampire is the camera that is like sucking the life out of Pedro. And all of this comes into a head when Jose finally uses the key, which is to entrance to Pedro's apartment, enters the apartment building, and then that takes us into the final moments of the movie. That's like a rough approximation of the plot. Is there anything that you feel like I should amend or I missed?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean,
that describes almost nothing about the movie, by the way.
But also, that's beat for beat, like what happens in the movie.
Yes.
But it's very much a movie of mood, atmosphere, and ideas. And again, just like those last bits of Sid and Nancy, it's a movie about heroin that makes you feel like you're on heroin.
And it's about addiction, and it sort of compares the addiction of filmmaking to the addiction of drugs.
Yeah, the addiction
right?
of the creative process.
Yes.
Also, it gets mingled in with sex and also with this almost like regressive idea, because there's a lot of emphasis on like fetish objects of like childhood figures, childhood like toys and like little collectible cards and Betty Boop dolls, and trying to find the like one little totemistic fetish item of your childhood to like get you to zero in and focus, and then like bringing that in with a heroin addiction and an artistic process and sexual pleasure, and it's bonkers, but in a really like slow build way.
Yeah.
It's not a wild, crazy romp of a movie. It's like I mean, it was a movie made by a heroin addict the peak of being a heroin addict.
Yes.
It's a very slow, calculating kind of trip. And when it gets to where it's going, the smallest and most subtle things become incredibly profound and incredibly freaky.
Yes, all of that is true. And yet at the same time, it does have these sort of very poppy, early new wave or punk aesthetics. You know, it's no surprise that this director had a close relationship to Pedro Almodovar, who I'm sure we'll talk about. But it's like living in that 1979, 1980 early new wave, almost a lot like The Hunger, actually, aesthetic, you know, like punky and bright and cool and sort of nihilistic at the same time. So it's like very subtle and tonally quiet and thoughtful, but it has this like really poppy aesthetic.
It's widely regarded as being one of the first films post the Franco dictatorship in Spain to really represent the actual like youth and like liberation of Spain going forward, that we would then see even bigger in the 80s in Spanish filmmaking by Almodovar, like Labyrinth of Passion being such like an orgiastic screwball, and then all the way down to like Women on the Verge and stuff like that. But Arrebato really is like the rough, scrappy punk forefather. Like, I'm going to use some very specific dated references to describe this, but it makes sense, I promise. In terms of like East Bay punk, if Almodovar is Green Day, Arrebato is Operation Ivy.
Yeah, I think that's apt.
Yeah, scrappy, small, weird, lots of great ideas packed in there. And Zulueta made 2 movies and it was just like gone, done.
I have some geographic similes too. So if wait, what's the first movie you said that you were comparing? Oh, Almodovar.
Yeah.
So if Almodovar is Silver Lake, then Zulueta is Echo Park. If Almodovar is Williamsburg, then Zulueta is Bushwick. You know what I mean? Like, kind of grittier, and a lot of circles would be cooler or like a little rougher.
Or for the Italian fans in the audience, if Almodovar is Argento, Zulueta is like maybe Mario Bava, but maybe even more so like Luigi Cozzi or someone a little bit trashier but still like beautiful.
Yeah. And Zulueta designed posters for Almodovar. Drusilla has one hanging behind her that's so beautiful. Almodovar does a voiceover, an uncredited voiceover in this movie, which we'll get to, that is truly wild. Yeah. But yes, I wrote down Sid and Nancy. It was like among the first things that I wrote down in my notes because, you know, this is a couple that are both heroin addicts. Like you mentioned in Day of Wine and Roses, we see her become addicted to heroin in flashbacks. She hasn't tried it, and he convinces her to. She thinks she's about to snort coke, and he's like, no, it's heroin. And she doesn't want to do it, and he convinces her. And then flash forward, she's a total junkie. There's a lot of them like stumbling around and like knocking things over, Sid and Nancy style, because they're high. This is part of their relationship with Pedro when we get to the countryside, as they do heroin with him. For the first part of the movie, it's mostly snorting, and then it progresses to shooting up the way that it does for most heroin addicts in real life. There is a weird thing in the translation where they kept calling it coke. Like the cousin, Pedro's cousin, when they first get to the countryside, they do all this they snort all this heroin, and then she's like, "Oh, I've done so much coke, I have to go to bed." And I was like, they must mean horse or something. Like, there's no one's ever done so much coke that they need to go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a thing that exists. So yeah, it's very sorted. I mean, if there's anything about this movie that hasn't aged super well, it's that Jose does occasionally get really high and like sort of beat his girlfriend a little bit, not savagely or anything. There's nothing that's like super hard to watch, but it is something that in 1979 would have been considered more commonplace than it is now. Now it's like a little bit nasty. Not that it wasn't nasty then, but just our attitude towards it has changed a lot.
Yeah, there's some uncomfortable scenes in this movie. As there are in most genre films from this era and art films from this era.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, it's character depth and exploration.
It is.
Because, I mean, Jose is not a great dude.
No, he's not. And I guess I don't mean to moralize or wring my hands about the movie. I'm just, it's just one way in which our attitudes have changed about some of the subject matter is all.
Yeah.
And they, for me, it's like really hard to watch people shoot up in movies. It's like a thing that makes me like grimace, and you get a lot of close-ups of needles going into arms and stuff like that. It's like, oof.
Yes, you do. And it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And again, knowing that like Zulueta was high during the making of this entire movie and was very much like a functioning addict during the making of this movie is really hard to reckon with.
Yeah.
And like it's impressive as hell.
It's a brilliant movie.
So I think we also need to talk about the elephant in the room of why the fuck has no one heard of this movie?
I don't know. Do you know?
So I guess it comes into like our connection with the movie separately. So I didn't hear about this movie until a couple of years ago. As a gigantic fan of Pedro Almodovar and as a poster designer and collector of vintage movie posters, I fell in love with Almodovar, and then I fell in love with Almodovar's posters. And I was like, these are so fucking cool. Like, all the kind of collage stuff that he does nowadays. But then his early 80s posters are these like really surreal, almost like hippie-esque illustrations of these very odd things. Dark Habits is a tiger in a nun's habit, and then there is a Sacred Heart with a needle going into it. It is wild and beautiful, and the colors are amazing. And I looked up that artist, and his name is Ivan Zulueta, and he also did posters in Spain for all of my other favorite directors, like notably like Louis Buñuel. And I have since begun collecting Zulueta's posters, and I have a bunch hanging up in my house. And like a few other great poster designers, he got into directing. He made 2 films. He did his own posters for his own movies. I think that
Arrebato bangers. They're both beautiful posters.
Yeah, the title treatment on his original Arrebato poster is amazing. I'm in love with it. And so I always wanted to see this like one like notorious horror movie he made for years and years and years and years and years. It was never released in America. In 79, it never hit US shores. It may have played one festival, maybe, but it had no official theatrical release. It had no American distribution at all. And the only it was just like a cult title in Spain alone.
Yeah, because this is not very obscure in Spain, it seems, because I looked it up on YouTube, and there are all sorts of like pretty mainstream media outlets that are like, we're doing an anniversary of this movie and of Ivan and like a retrospective, and there's a lot of stuff like that. So it seems like it has somewhat of a large cult following there.
It's kind of almost like the way US audiences look at Eraserhead of like it's a foundational 70s like cult like, you know, genre text that like we kind of take for granted as like, yep, Eraserhead happened and then everything else happened and it's a great midnight movie and you sit around with your friends and you watch it and you look at those chickens.
Damn funny chickens.
And you know, everything is fine in heaven. And so like it had that kind of status in Spain, but it never really broke out of Spain the way, you know, Almodovar did. Almodovar is so much more palatable. I mean, the man's won multiple Oscars. Like everyone's mother likes Almodovar movies.
Yeah.
So cool, fine, awesome. Thankfully, because there was Spanish releases that were like not well restored, not well translated into English that were circulating in America. Like you could import them or bootleg them or whatever. And I saw it from a friend of mine who had imported a Spanish release of it, and it looked crappy, but it was fascinating, and I fell in love with it. And then in the beginning of lockdown 2020, I was approached by my friend and friend of the show, Frank Jaffe, who runs Altered Innocence, which is one of the greatest queer cinema distributors in America. 100. They are the best for a re-release of Arrebato, and I freaked out, and I was like, I want to work on this. Let me work on this. And so we did the poster for the re-release, and I watched the movie a ton of times.
Wait, Drusilla, you did the poster for the American release of this?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I had no idea. No. Oh my God, it's amazing.
That's why I thought you knew that. Okay. Yeah.
I had no idea. Oh my God, I'm so impressed. I mean, I know, of course, that you're a genius and an amazing designer, but I just did not know. Wow.
It was so much fun. And then we did the slipcase, which was released by
Yeah.
Alternate Innocence through Vinegar Syndrome, which is, you know, nice and pretty. But like the real highlight for me was, okay, so we did it in 2020, but the restoration didn't premiere until the end of last year, because they had done such a beautiful new restoration on the movie that they wanted to premiere that they also did a 35 millimeter print of the new restoration. And so they were waiting for theaters to reopen to debut it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, you know, well worth the wait, because I got to see it at the New Beverly with a packed audience. It sold out 2 nights in a row as the A picture on a double bill with Videodrome, which is a great pairing.
Wow.
And it was a packed house both nights with, you know, like my poster hanging up at the New Beverly, which was surreal.
Oh, magic.
And seeing that movie with a crowd and on film and in a theater is another level. You get like the movie is more hypnotic than I've ever seen it before. And there's really small, subtle things that happen at the end that are like the most supernatural things in the movie. And I was fully expecting a full crowd of LA hipsters to laugh at it.
Yeah.
The way LA hipster crowds laugh at Suspiria and Possession, and people like that have a special rung in hell.
Yes, 100%.
So I was fully ready for that, and the more I was watching, the more like sedated and hypnotized I was getting into the movie, and I was like, fuck, this better go well, or I'm going to be really, 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 really mad. And then those things happened at the end, and the entire audience like jumped in their seats.
Oh,
and
great.
I lost it. I was so happy. It's one of the few horror movies that makes me cry.
Yeah. It feels like it would be really cool to see on film, because one of the aspects to this movie is the idea that the film is a vampire.
Yeah.
And is stealing Pedro and then Jose's life force, right?
That so there's some kind of magical, like, uneffable thing in, like, actually the nitrate in the film.
And so I thought about it while I was watching, because I streamed it, and I was like, God, if you were watching this on film, because the movie does put a sort of spell on you and kind of makes you feel almost like you're high or something, but it's also like, ooh, is this film stealing my energy as an audience member? You know what I mean? There's an element to the film that makes it feel like the movie that you're watching is a kind of spell or something like that. And so to watch it on film would be like, ooh, now I'm the victim of this movie.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's
in
what's
like a
so
really fun
amazing about it is that
way.
the movie hypnotizes you, and then by the time that you realize that you're like locked in step with it, is that you realize what then starts happening to the characters. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like watching demons in a theater. You're like, well, I'm dead.
Totally. Yeah. I want to talk about the fashion in the movie. I immediately added this to my list of fashion horror films on Letterboxd. It's very chic. It's like the hunger of levels of chicness. The character Pedro, who's the younger man, looks a lot like Timothée Chalamet or something. You know, like he has beautiful curly black floppy hair. He's wearing a loose vintage turtleneck with like a long cool overcoat. He looks like everyone in Williamsburg, everyone that I went to art school with, like every cute boy in art school is what he looks like.
And then he has the amazing transition multiple times in the film. Whenever he gets loaded, he drops the coat, wets his hair and slicks it back really tight and straight, and then just sits around in a white t-shirt just looking like and his entire demeanor changes when that happens too. He's like
especially when he goes to Madrid, you know, leaves the country and moves to Madrid, and then, you know, he starts to transition, so he'll be wearing like, he kind of like turns from Timothée Chalamet to Evan Peters, you know. He has his hair slicked back, he's wearing nail polish and leather pants and going out.
It reminds me of the character transition in Christine a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Getting obsessed with this inanimate object and making you a cooler punk.
Yeah. There's another great scene where Jose's girlfriend, Anna, they're about to screen the movie, and she dresses up as like a sort of Betty Boop, I guess. Yeah. And does like a musical number to a record in front of the movie screen. And it's so beautiful. I mean, I really like it when people who aren't from a film background start making films. So you mentioned that Zulueta was a graphic designer. He has such a good eye. Such a beautiful and thought out aesthetic to this movie. It reminded me of, this is not a horror movie and has nothing in common, but when Tom Ford started making movies, you know, like A Single Man, whether or not that movie is successful, like on a character or a writing level, is one thing, but just the interior design and the costume design is so fucking incredible. I just really appreciate when people who come from some other creative background start making movies. I
mean, we all forget that Joel Schumacher, who gave us the gayest, most campy Batman movies, and we love him for it, and The Lost Boys and all of this stuff, came from a fashion background.
Yeah.
Like, he worked for Halston. Like,
yeah.
He did all the costume design for The Last of Sheila.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Oh my god, The Last of Sheila is a fascinating movie.
It's the camp and queer pedigree of that movie
incredible.
Oh my god.
Who was it written by? Stephen Sondheim and
Anthony Perkins.
And Anthony Perkins, I knew it. What a pair. They wrote this great murder mystery. If you haven't seen The Last of Sheila, great comedic 70s murder mystery on a luxury yacht.
I'm obsessed with it. James Coburn does none drag.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. But then on top of that, all of the characters that are being played by the star-studded cast of leads are all based on like real Hollywood celebrities.
Yeah.
And it's very obvious to tell like who's based on who. Raquel Welch's character is based on Raquel Welch. And without giving anything away, the character that is the killer is based on Anthony Perkins.
Oh, wow.
He wrote The Killer about himself.
What I think is more interesting than that even is that some of the characters are based on people that were only known in Hollywood. So not even celebrities, but like this character is based on a famous female Hollywood talent agent. You know what I mean? Like, she's the best character. Let's be real.
She is the best character. No, not to get too far away, but yeah.
Yes.
Directors who are not from film backgrounds make the best movies.
Yeah.
We love them. All the more reason to let me get back into directing. Come on, guys. If even Zulueta can do it, I can do it. Give me
a good director.
The green light. Give me the
green light. And not even if, I mean, or a production designer, to be honest. I mean, you'd be so good at that.
I love art department. I used to work art department.
Yeah, art department's amazing.
So speaking of such a tangent, speaking of James Coburn and nuns, my other great love, desire, and fetish, vampires. So we talk about the vampire angle of this movie.
Great.
Which I think is really fucking fascinating because there's no vampires in this movie. But the idea of the film is absolutely one that falls in line with vampire lineage. And the movie opens with Jose cutting the final reel of his latest movie, which is a vampire film.
Yeah.
And he is having an argument with the editor over where to put the final cut of the film and what shot to end on. And he insists that they should end on a shot of the lead actress of the film at the end as a vampire in the coffin looking pleased. There's additional footage after that where she's being burned and killed as a vampire. And he says, no, don't even show that. Well, I'm sorry we even shot it. Cut it out. Just stop here where she's pleased to be a vampire. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's the opening of Arrebato. And that tells you everything you need to know about what Zulueta thinks of this story and what he thinks of these characters and decision. This is everything that Zulueta wants.
It's such
he famously used to say that, like, would get mad at people like moralizing and telling him to kick his addiction.
Yeah.
He was like, it's my body, it's my choice.
It's such a junkie's point of view, though, to sort of artistically explore the ecstasy and the pleasure of giving yourself over to oblivion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is the entire idea of this movie, and it does everything in its power to convince you that that is seductive, cool, and sexy, and that you don't know what's on the other side of the lens or the other side of the 8mm film frame.
Yeah, and
the title
Arrebato is Spanish for what? Rapture or
rapture?
Yeah,
yeah. This movie is all about chasing highs, whether it's artistic or sexual or substance based. And it kind of meshes all of that together into its final 20 minutes in a way that is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. But really quickly, before we get to anywhere near the end of the movie, I want to talk about the character Gloria, who only appears in one scene. Gloria is his friend in Madrid who kind of interrupts him on a bender, basically, by knocking on his door and trying to get him out of the house. And she's played by a cis woman. Her voice is dubbed over by who it turns out is an uncredited Pedro Almodovar. And so the character reads, I guess, as trans. I don't know if it's the intention that the character is trans. When I read on the IMDb was that Ivan just didn't like the actress's voice and thought that Almodovar's voice could be more feminine. So, but basically, it's Almodovar doing a high-pitched woman's voice over the cis woman actress, making the character feel trans in a way that is a little campy, but I'm not sure is entirely transphobic or I don't know. I just was like, what is this? I want to ask Drusilla about this.
I love that you're just like, what is this? Yeah,
you're the trans woman, so you have to speak on behalf of all trans women now.
Get on your podium. Do I? Yeah, you texted me about that after watching the movie. You were like, what was with that character? And I was like, that's Almodovar. You were like, what? Very pleasing to me. I think it is very campy. I don't think it's intended in a transphobic way. I think it's intended in a very celebratory way. And additionally, I think that choice of fucking with the audio track in a way that you don't notice when it's happening is right to the movie's themes.
I mean, I certainly noticed while it was happening, though.
Well, okay.
This is clearly a man's voice.
Well, I watch a lot of dubbed Italian giallo films and dubbed anime films, so I'm like, dubbing, whatever, I can't tell. I don't look at lips.
Yes, so, Drusilla famously can't see lips.
I can't see lips. They're all the same to me. I don't see lips. You have skin and then teeth and nothing in between.
When Drusilla watches the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the opening number is just a black screen.
I don't understand it. I don't get the reference, and I refuse to engage.
Did you think that the character was intended to be trans, or is it just they're just having fun with this woman?
I think the character's intended to be trans, especially knowing the queer scene at the time in Spain. That again, like Zulueta, Carmen Mora, Mercer Paradis, Almodovar, all of those people, Antonio Banderas, all those people like ran in the same circle of like queer weirdos and artists who like, hey, we can do this shit legally now. There's not an insane Franco looking over our shoulders constantly. Cool. And so they were all in that stuff together. I feel like the polar opposite of this movie that is equally important to understanding the kind of world it was built in, because this movie's very interior. Like, in the country, the only other person that you meet besides Pedro is the aunt, who is a kook if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
and I love
like
her.
Aunt Martha from Sleepaway Camp, just like totally batty and sweet and wonderful.
And obsessed with old Hollywood movies. Relatable. So the only time you really feel like you're actually out in the world and not just in a closed room on a bender somewhere is the one scene where they go out and about like trolling the town for some guy, and they're doing poppers and picking up randos in elevators, and it's all set to punk music. It's in the best.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
That's the closest look into like actually Madrid at that time. And the other side of that is Almodovar's first two movies, Pepe Lucy Bomb and Other Girls Like Mom, and Labyrinth of Passion, which are both like loudly queer films that are just like lesbians pissing on each other, and here's some trans women at a party, and let's have a dick measuring contest, and Almodovar in drag singing for a punk band, and whatever, just like pansexual orgy comedies, with like the pacing and tone of like Howard Hawks Screwballs with Cary Grant. They're nothing like Arrebato, but they are such a great lens into kind of what that period in Spain was like, and what that kind of creative group was like, and what kind of nonsense they were up to. And Arrebato really is like the moody teen brother to those movies.
Yeah. So where we get to in Arrebato basically is that Pedro is living alone in Madrid in this basically serial killer apartment. It's just a mattress on a floor and his camera equipment. And one night while he's sleeping...
Men really live like that and see no problem.
Yes. And basically one night while he's sleeping, the camera starts to film him. And when he develops the film, there's one single frame where it just turns red and you can't see anything. And this starts to happen every night. And then eventually like the whole film is red. And then someone comes to visit him, and he tries to get this person to watch him while he's sleeping, sort of Nightmare on Elm Street style. And the camera just takes that person. When he wakes up, that person's gone. And so that sort of that's just like the last 30 minutes or so, but basically the camera starts to truly consume people until Jose, with this key that Pedro sent him, because remember, this is all being narrated from Pedro's cassette tape that he sent Jose in the first scene. Jose comes into the apartment, and then you get the final minutes, which I guess I won't spoil, but it's not really surprising. And that's the movie. I mean, it's incredible. It's so beautiful, so aesthetic, so queer. I just loved it. I haven't seen anything for the first time in a long time that I loved this much.
It's a very exciting movie, and it's one that I love talking about with people, because there's a lot of ways of reading it, and a lot of different ways that it almost feels like a Rorschach test in the way that you personally feel about some of the like sexual games being played, and your like personal like artistic processes kind of change how you react to this movie.
Yeah.
The question of this movie is kind of what Jose does at the end of taking the key and going to the apartment and then setting the camera up, of like, it's a mystery. Do you want to sit down in front of the camera and try it yourself? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to run in the opposite direction? And, you know, maybe it's a good thing that I don't dabble in hard substances because I am absolutely the kind of person who's like, set that camera up, let's go.
Me too, obviously. I just loved this. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this to just anybody, you know what I mean? I feel like it's like our listeners are people who would like this movie, of course, but like in my personal life, there's only like a handful of people who I think are like really cool enough to be in on it. Not to be snobby, but I am a snob. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just recommend, if some normie is like, hey, what horror movie should I watch? I haven't seen that many horror movies. I'm not going to reach for Arrebato. You know what I mean? Like this is for the real ones.
I mean, it is. And it's so much fun. But the good news is that not only is the new restoration out and it's gorgeous, you can get it on Blu-ray finally in America
100%
very
buying
easily.
Blu-ray, yeah.
And it's currently on the Criterion channel, so you can go watch it there, which is a hoot and a half for me because the restoration team and the like kind of restoration partner of Alternate Innocence, or the arm of Alternate Innocence, is called Anus Films, which is a play on Criterion's parent company, Janus Films, and to see the Anus Films logo, A, on film at the New Beverly, and amazing. B, streaming on the Criterion channel, tickles me pink.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to play Have They Seen It? The game where we speculate wildly about whether or not notable figures have seen this movie. I'll go first. We've already mentioned them. I want to know, has Antonio Banderas seen this movie?
Oh, I strongly believe Antonio Banderas has absolutely seen this movie, and I'm sure he loves it.
He's got a cooler pedigree than some people might know because he comes, like as you mentioned, he comes from this arty punk Spanish scene. I don't think that he's queer himself. I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure he's heterosexual, but God, he is so willing to play. I've only ever, I grew up with him as, you know, Interview with the Vampire.
For sure.
And
that was his big splash in
Philadelphia.
America, I think. Yeah.
And then, of course, all of his Almodovar characters are almost across the board queer. Law of Desire is one of his gayest roles, and he's beautiful in it.
Has anyone ever been as hot as early 20s Antonio Banderas was?
With his Eraserhead hair and Women on the Verge. And his oversized 80s suit jackets with the shoulder pads. He could do whatever he wanted.
So he's seen it.
Oh, he's definitely. There's no way Antonio Banderas has not seen Arrebato. I'm sure he adores it, but I'm sure it's a movie that he's seen 2 or 3 times in his life and has no desire to see again because he's like, it's too intense, it's too much for me. Brings back too many memories. I'm sure he's seen it. Speaking of its late 70s, early 80s, punk new wave vibes, do you think Adam Ant has ever taken the time to watch Arrebato?
Gosh, that's a good one because he does have this, he has the same sort of fashion sensibility at this time. He appears in the movie Jubilee, of course, in which he's very much styled like Pedro in this movie, you know, which is a cool look at the time. But we also know that this movie hasn't really been out of Spain previous to now.
But Adam and the Ants, and then later just Adam Ant, toured pleasantly for quite a while.
I'm gonna guess no, and that's not based on anything other than that's not based on Adam's coolness. Although he did very swiftly become extremely mentally ill, so there's that. It's more based on just the accessibility of this movie.
Well, Stuart Goddard, if you're listening. Track down Arrebato. We think you would love it.
You would love
and we are madly in love with you, and you're super cool.
Yeah.
Who else? Who do you have in mind, Josh?
So these are fashion industry people, and I was lucky enough to see them introduce the incredible documentary about my hometown, Seattle, Streetwise. They introduced the movie Streetwise at the Arrow probably 3 years ago. I want to know if young fashion icons, the Rodarte sisters, have seen this movie.
Oh my God, I love them so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love them.
So we know they're movie people because they introduced
They really are movie people. I've seen their Criterion videos. They're very much movie people. I love them. I'm going to say they haven't. Again, because of this movie's obscure background. But I think because of how much they love you without you knowing it, and that how much they listen to this podcast without you knowing it, they are hearing this right now, and they have paused this podcast, and they are going to go watch it on the Criterion channel. And then by the time that they unpause and it gets to this part that we're talking about right now, they will have watched it.
Oh my God. If I believed for a second that they knew who I was, I would throw myself out of a window in ecstasy and just like...
This is a very odd answer because it's Schrodinger's Rodart, because by the beginning of the episode, they have not watched the movie. But by the end of the episode, they have watched the movie.
That's very like of this movie too. Like playing with media as something that's alive. Like maybe we could figure out a podcast version of this story.
I mean, yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
I think they would dig this movie a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So here's someone who's very hip, who's very cool, and has a great literacy for horror cinema and you know, the punk movement. Do you think Fred Armisen has seen Arrebato?
Yes. But I think he's like us. I think he's just seen it in the past 2 years or something. You know what I mean?
Whenever,
like, I feel like, yeah, I just feel like that's when this movie was available in the United States, and that's when most people saw it.
I feel like the curse of my life is whenever I discover something that's like new to me, that is, you know, older, and it is like so invigorating and exciting. Oh my God, where was this my whole life? I always have the thought in the back of my head of like, Fred Armisen's already a giant fan of this. And I go, God damn it. I can't have anything. I remember finding Martha and the Muffins for the first time, being like, they're like the Canadian Talking Heads. I love them so much. And then a voice in the back of my head was like, I'm sure Fred Armisen already loves them. I'm sure he like has made a Portlandia joke about them. And I was like, damn it, can I have anything?
Well, some of that, but then it also makes me
happy.
You know, that he's 25 years older than you. Like I'm almost 15 years older than you, and I knew about Martha and the Muffins when I was a teenager. But it's not because I'm so cool; it's because I'm old. You know, like I just like lived a long time. And I will
that's
say
that's the other side of my life. That like, you know, I'm 26, but I'm 70 at heart.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it does kind of make me cool because when I was a teenager, it was the 90s. And so it was all about like alt rock and stuff like that, which I loved. But my real love was new wave, which was desperately uncool when I was a teenager. Like people made fun of me so much and they were like, what's the psychedelic furs and stuff like that. So when all of that came back into style in the early 2000s in college and post-college, and I was living in Williamsburg, Brooklyn at that time, all of that music became really hip. And I was like so ahead of the curve because I was listening to this when I was 13. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I am actually just as cool as Fred Armisen.
Having met both of you, yes, you are.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. But Fred's nicer.
I guess that's it for this week. Fred's nicer. Oh boy. Wow. You really got me there. I guess that's it for this week. Drusilla, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we're taking a trip to Sweden, not for the Bergman Report as usual, but for a little movie called Midsummer.
Yay! And we are watching specifically the director's cut this time, if you care to follow along. So if you like this show, please rate us on iTunes and all the things. Drusilla, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hyde Sister, HYDE. And you can find my art and get in contact with me over at sisterhydedesign.com. And what about you, Josh?
I'm Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can also follow the show on socials, Bloodhouse, BLOODHAUS, as in Bauhaus. And you can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. Yay! Another one. We did it.
Woo!